and we had an issue. NASA had an issue maybe an hour or so ago with the flight termination system. That's been cleared and resolved, so the range is now go for launch, and we'll see how things go with this launch abort system battery. You know, I don't have any direct insight right now into what the issue is per se, but I know, given having covered many of these countdowns, that they're going to look for
Well,
any way
hey,
possible
Lindsay.
to safely waive that issue. And if they can
How are
find that
you?
out that it's a sensor and convince themselves that the
Kind of
battery
just
is
threw
healthy,
some stuff
I wouldn't be
together.
surprised if they proceed. But if the battery is bad,
Yeah, hang on.
the flight
Hey,
will
Google,
can go.
cancel
Yeah, and
alarm.
going back to the
Yeah,
point you made a second
this
ago
was
about this
happening. I put
being
it
a
together
relatively
early
smooth
this morning,
countdown,
and
the
I
fact
was
that they
like,
didn't have
let's just kind
hydrogen
of see
leaks like
what
we saw during the
happens.
first
I
flight
just kind
test
of thought I'd
rehearsal.
hang out, and
This
if
goes
anybody
to
wanted to
what
come
the
watch, here
administrator
I
was saying
am.
during the
Hey,
booster event in the
Ava.
weeks preceding that
Ava, you're never in the
really
right room,
wants
love.
to instill a culture of
I'm putting some makeup on so I
repetition
can turn my
of
camera
bringing
on.
up the launch cadence so that lessons learned can be maintained. And you have to imagine
Hang on,
as
Ava. I'll
Jared
send you the
Isaacman
right
and his
link, babe.
team at NASA are watching this,
Let me see
that
if
they've
I'm
got
gonna
to
find it.
feel pretty good about where they are now and where they want to be, in a year of launching Artemis III.
Yeah, I think so. And we've heard from Jared Isaacman and other NASA officials that, they made pretty declarative statements that the hydrogen leak is going to be resolved
Hang
for the
on,
next
Ava.
mission. They're not going to have any issue with it at all. And that, they seem pretty convinced of themselves that they're going to be able to do that. And if they are able to launch Artemis 3 next year, let's say within
You're
12
so
to 18
cute,
months
Ava.
or something
Just
like that,
stop. There. I'm
that's
gonna pin it
certainly
at the
bringing
top.
down the gap between launches, because now it's been, what, 3.5 years now since Artemis 1
Okay.
launched
There, it's
until
pinned
now
at
we're
the
on the
top
pad
now.
with Artemis 2. That is a long gap. And compare that, um, SpaceX is launching multiple times per week. They don't even have to do launch rehearsals anymore, because every countdown
Okay, Anna. But thank
it fine
you.
tunes their skills. So it's
Yeah,
a
I just thought
totally
I'd
different
just play this
situation
for a
with
little bit and
Artemis,
just kind of
with the space launch
eavesdrop
system
on
with a
it.
low flight rate.
I'm
But
gonna
even
turn
getting
it
it
up,
down to one
let him
cigarette
talk while I
could
finish
usually
putting
help.
on my makeup, and
Yeah, I
I'll.
mean, just having the Falcon 9 having
Yeah,
flown
there.
now in
You click
excess
that
of
YouTube link,
620 times,
Ava, and you'll come over the other side,
obviously
babe.
not all of those were crewed flights, but they've launched, I believe now, 20 crewed missions between the commercial crew program, the private astronaut missions, and the missions that Jared Isaacman himself was commanding. So a lot of flight heritage on that vehicle, and that mindset of rapid turnaround seems like it's the thing that's going to be driving NASA, with the core stage getting ready to be barged as soon as next month from down at Michoud, and as soon as the
Just
mobile
figured we
launcher can
kind
be
of
turned
just check it
around,
out, see
they'll be
what's
in a good
going on
posture to
with
start
all
that stacking
this.
operation.
Yeah, I think
Y'all know me.
it would
I just
certainly
gotta see it. There you
bode
are.
well for
See,
Artemis
Ava,
3
I
launch
knew
next
you'd
year if
make
they're
it
able
over
to start
here.
stacking it by the end of this year. So
Just
we'll
took
see
you a minute,
how
girl.
quickly that operation gets underway. Of course, they have to get off the pad with this one
So
first, and
let me give y'all
if
a
they have to delay to the
rundown.
next period at the end of April,
So
beginning
what's
of May,
happening
that's a month
is
now
that
that would feed
today
into the
is a
schedule
massive
for
day for
Artemis 3. So
space
a lot of these
exploration.
schedules are
NASA
predicated
is scheduled.
one mission
I'm
after
going to
the
turn this
other.
down for a second. NASA has scheduled to launch the Artemis II mission, the first time humans will head towards the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972, the year I was born. So the time to launch is going to be it'll be 5:24 my time, which is probably in about 30 minutes or so. It's going to be at the launch pad 39B at Kennedy Space Center, and it's going to be the most powerful rocket NASA's ever built. Spacecraft is Orion, which will house the crew for their journey. This isn't a landing mission, but rather a critical flight test with humans on board. The crew will perform a lunar flyby I'm sorry, I don't even have the mic near me. Traveling around the far side of the moon before using Earth's gravity for a free return home. The goal is to test Orion's life support system, communications, and navigating the deep space to ensure everything is safe from actual landing mission. To be the Artemis IV, and that's planned for 2028. I think there's 4. So it'll be Reed Wiseman is the commander. He's a veteran NASA astronaut. He's leading the mission. Victor Glover is a pilot. He'll be the first person of color to leave low Earth orbit. Christina Koch, she is mission specialist. She'll become the first woman to travel the lunar vicinity. Jeremy Hansen is a mission specialist at Canadian Space Agency, CSA, astronaut and the first non-US citizen to fly to the moon. So there is one, two, three, four. Jeremy, Christina, Victor, and Reed. So there's 4 of them. So as of this afternoon, rockets fully fueled with liquid hydrogen and astronauts have already completed their walkout and entered the Orion spacecraft. Weather remains 80% favorable, so barring any last-minute technical gremlins, we're go to launch. So that's about where we're at. So I'm going to turn this back up. Let's go over here.
Ames Research Center Data Integration. So we're coming together. We're one big NASA team, one big NASA family, and we have
We're going to turn them up.
major message before we launch tonight. Okay, guys, what are we going to say? 1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That made me so emotional. That was so inspiring to see. I mean, wow. Yeah, that was great. I mean, just to hear everybody say their position, what they're doing to support this mission is amazing. And I'm sure this was something that really rang true and resonated with NASA's administrator, Jared Isaacman, again, to see the workforce come together to do the work and then to be here for launch. So why don't we actually go over to him now with our Jasmine Hopkins at one of our other viewing locations.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. The energy here on the balcony is honestly becoming electric as we get so close to launch. And now we are thrilled to welcome NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. Jared, we're really entering a golden age of exploration. How will Artemis II set the pace for the coming years?
Well, I mean, Artemis II is the opening act, right? This is the test mission. This is getting very comfortable with the SLS rocket, the Orion spacecraft. No humans have ever flown on this before, right? And we're going to put it through its paces. We'll go into Earth orbit for a little bit, make sure Orion's doing okay, and then we are sending them, right? We're going to send them farther into space than any humans might have gone before, 250,000 miles away, and it's going to set up for the subsequent missions. That's why we're going into the golden age of science and discovery right now, because you're going to see moon rocket launch in 2027 when we do our testing with the lander. We're going to go for the landing on Artemis IV in 2028. And in parallel, we're going to build the moon base, right? And that is going to be filled with science discovery and tech demonstrations that's going to support the enduring presence we're trying to create on the surface.
Absolutely. So honestly, history-making years ahead of us, you know, with Artemis 3 and 4. But first is Artemis 2. What will be our single greatest takeaway from this mission?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, after ignition, to me, the moment that I'm going to be most excited for is splashdown. There's no question about that. Good shoots coming down off the West Coast. But look, I think the takeaway from this is gaining extreme comfort in the Orion spacecraft, right? I mean, this is very different than what we've done for more than a half century, right? I mean, the velocities that that spacecraft is going to re-enter at, it's going to be new territory for us. We want to get our arms around that completely. So I would say the performance of SLS plus Orion is everything on this one. We want to make sure we do it in you know, as safe way as we possibly can, understanding what we are undertaking right here. Bring our crew back, learn as much as we can from the vehicle, set up for Artemis 3 in 2027.
Right. And Administrator, we've actually had a pretty young audience today here, some kids running around the balcony. How do you hope Artemis 2 inspires that next generation?
You know, I talk about this all the time. Like, you know, one of our overarching KPIs that we should always be tracking is the number of people living and working in space. Well, you know what's another strong number 2 on that one? It's the number of kids that are dressing up as astronauts for Halloween, so that they grow up, that they're inspired to want to join in this grand endeavor, whether they come work with us here at NASA or they join in industry, but they're helping humankind venture out farther, pursue all the secrets of the universe.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of kids dressed as astronauts this year. And finally, Jared, you've really made it a personal mission to get to know the people behind the work at NASA. Do you have any final thoughts, any final words before today's history-making launch?
Yeah. Well, one, I want to express a lot of appreciation. I'll tell you what, the 4 astronauts astronauts on top of Artemis II know this. It takes an army to pull a mission together like this, right? Across all 10 of our centers, all of our commercial partners, the international partners that come together to make this possible. My sincere appreciation for everyone who is currently working the mission right now. So getting them ready for launch, that will be watching over them in mission control, recovering this crew when they splash down off the West Coast. I have complete trust and confidence in your abilities. And everybody else who's not directly working on Artemis II, Artemis III is coming up next year. When this mobile launcher gets back in the VAB, we're going to start stacking.
Wow, plenty of excitement ahead of us. Jared Isaacman, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
Here, I'm gonna back up a little bit. This was a lot of the stuff that was going on earlier. They were just showing that it's out here on the launch pad. There's people gathered all around. I mean, come on, computer, work with me here. There is a whole big area where people are set out there in tents. You know, it's really, it's kind of got me a little nervous because I keep thinking about me watching it live when I was young and incidents happening. So I'm actually a little bit nervous to watch this. Hang on, let me fast forward to where they started. They had some interviews. It was really interesting. Hold up. Right here.
Back to AP's live stream of NASA's Artemis II launch. I'm Kyle Marian Viterbo. A little weather update from AP's Marcia Dunn. Now, I know that you guys can see a little bit of our live views from Titusville. It looks like it's getting sunny, so maybe
You see them working around in there and stuff, hanging out, getting all them last minute things done.
A weather update from AP's Marcia Dunn. She said, still feisty weather out there being reported, rain nearby. But again, we still have a wide window of opportunity for safe liftoff.
I know. I can remember as a child watching it live in the nervousness.
And I know you guys are watching that countdown clock with me. That is a countdown clock that is now under an hour to when that window, that launch window, will open up. And then from there, there's 2 hours that the
Wait, I lost sound. Hold up.
And then it comes to us here, 2026. Good evening from Kennedy Space Center, Florida. I'm Tony DeCopel. You see the countdown to launch there in just a short time. Artemis II is set to lift off from Launch Pad 39B right behind me, and with it a new era of exploration. The first human moon mission in 53 years, the first since the final Apollo mission back in 1972. And if all goes well, the 4 astronauts on board will travel deeper into space than any humans before them, more than 250,000 miles from us here on Earth, around the moon and back again. And if all goes well on this mission, NASA's first crewed Artemis flight, the plan is to return to the moon's surface, build a base there, and then go on to Mars. Let's talk about the crew. First selected for this mission back in 2023, and right now sitting atop that rocket behind us. Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen. There's a lot of history here already. Cook will be the first woman on a lunar mission, Glover the first African-American, and Jeremy Hansen the first Canadian. And a lot has happened today already as well. Earlier, the astronauts suited up. Let's hope they like the color orange. They'll be wearing it for the next 10 days. And then a parting goodbye. This was moving as they saw their family exiting the crew building there, and then began the 20-minute drive to the launch pad. Once they strapped in to the Orion spacecraft, near the very top of the rocket, the 500-pound hatch door closed. And now here's the plan from this moment. It's a 10-day journey overall. After liftoff, the spacecraft is expected to orbit Earth twice, check all of its systems, ensure safety, and then head on toward the moon. That trip alone is a 4-day trip. There's a lunar flyby around the far side of the moon. And from that vantage point, something pretty amazing. The crew will be able to see the Earth and moon from Orion's windows, and then the return to Earth for a splashdown off the coast of San Diego. That's how they've drawn up the play anyway, but this is rocket science after all. There are risks. They are real. They are well known. The spacecraft, the capsule there, is named Orion, and it has never been used before by humans in flight. Senior national correspondent Mark Strassman has been covering this for months, and he's with me here at Kennedy Space Center, just above me, in fact, on the roof, probably with a better view than we have. Mark, good evening.
Yeah, that's my baby. Hannah's always working, but she's always here supporting no matter what. I love my Hannah. She's always here. Always here. Look at her popping in, putting them hearts. She's so sweet. I love her.
What are the goals?
Good evening, Tony. I'm glad you used the word rocket science because, you know, we all tend to focus on the splashy moments with space travel, the launch, the astronauts floating in microgravity, and even the splashdown. Well, this is the serious business of engineering and hardware and making sure it all works. Before NASA tries to land astronauts on the moon, they're going to take a 500,000-mile road trip to make sure all the equipment works. As you mentioned, this capsule has never flown with people in space before. They got to make sure that the systems work. They have to make sure, in particular, that the life support systems work. If the CO2 scrubbers don't work, you have toxic fumes inside a sealed cabin. That won't work. And assuming that every system checks the right box,
cool,
at 19 hours after launch, a NASA management team will gather and say, okay, are we good to go to the moon? If they're good to go to the moon, once they commit, they're committed. There's no turning around. It would take several days to get back, even if they had a major problem. So the first day in low Earth and then high Earth orbit is critical, Tony, to make sure that all these systems work. Then I asked Jared Isaacman, the NASA administrator, okay, so why is all of this important? And here's what he said.
Well, I think it's important because we're fulfilling a promise that began more than 35 years ago for America's return to the moon as a stepping stone for all the things that we are going to do farther out into our solar system, like someday American astronauts planting the stars and stripes on Mars. So you're doing it for the scientific potential, the economic potential, as a technological proving ground to do the things on the moon that you're going to need on Mars. And how about inspiring the next generation? I mean, how many kids after this mission are going to dress up as astronauts for Halloween and want to grow up and contribute to this great adventure?
I think he's right about that.
And assuming that this test flight goes well, there's another test flight, Artemis III, that is planned. That's a low Earth orbit test flight. And then ultimately, NASA hopes to return to the moon, put boots, kicking lunar dust.
Jerry.
That would be Artemis IV, Tony, scheduled now for sometime early in 2028.
And now works for Axiom. Peggy has a
total of 695 I would rather watch it with somebody and watch it on my own. You know what I'm saying? Because of my nerves and not knowing. So I would rather be here watching it with y'all. And y'all know me and my live reaction, so it all kind of just fits, you know, right? Yes, sir. 17 minutes, Benjamin. Clock's excuse me, top.
Lots and lots and lots.
Top right-hand corner.
Is carefully orchestrated. It's a sequential step. They have to go through every step and get it exactly right before they can continue. It really gets back to how complex the vehicle is and making absolutely sure all the systems are safe and ready to go. We know they're working one problem right now.
Tell us about it.
They've got a battery issue up in the launch abort system tower. This is a little rocket at the top that could carry the crew capsule away in the event of a catastrophic failure early in flight, like in the first 3 minutes. Batteries both have to check out when they get down to T-minus 6 minutes or the countdown will stop. Now, they may be able to resolve it at that point. They may already have it resolved. We just hadn't heard an update yet. That's really the only glitch of any significance we've heard about in this countdown, which is really quite amazing given the history of the vehicle and the leaks and things like that we've dealt with in the past.
Yeah, and the weather still seems pretty good. Peggy, fingers crossed
yeah,
on
the weather's
weather. Yeah. Peggy, I want to go to you now because you've been to space on, I believe, 3 different types of rockets. So we have some inkling of what is going through the minds of these astronauts as they're trapped in there. As I understand it, they're sitting there, their work is ahead of them, and right now a lot of other people are working to make it happen. So what's their mindset? What's going through their heads?
Well, I'm sure they're excited. I think most people accept the risks of the space flight well before you get to launch day. So all you're thinking about, at least for me, is, what's coming, and hoping that all the countdown process is going smoothly. And they get information from the ground team as they're working issues and get heads ups. So they're aware of things that are going on. But for the most part, right now, they're just chilling, waiting for the big moment. And it is an incredible ride. And the fact that this actually has even more thrust than I had on the shuttle, I think would make it quite exciting.
I can tell you still want to be out there, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Mike, I want to go with you on this one. You've traveled to space before with Victor Glover, the pilot on this mission, so you know his personality, what he's like. Yeah. How are they passing the time? They've been in those chairs for multiple hours now.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of wiggling around because things start to go to sleep, and it can get a little bit uncomfortable. But I'm sure they're telling stories, they're sharing jokes, light moments to kind of pass the time. But also, I would say right now, though,
if you're
it's starting to really feel real for them. We were talking about all the steps that have to happen to get to this point. Well, a lot of those are behind them now. And so all of a sudden you're starting to realize, okay, there's not many left that we have to get through before we actually launch. And so
yes, Ava, it was
the focus is starting to really dial in at this point.
Yeah.
I was in
Mike, you've also
elementary
been a test pilot by profession. This capsule has never been flown by humans in space before, right? It is a test flight.
This is a test professional pilot, flight test engineer. It's a dream, right? To get to be the first person to fly a vehicle, whether it's an aircraft or a spacecraft like this, is something that just doesn't happen that often. And so for all of them to be a part of this, and particularly for Reed and Victor, who they're test professionals by trade, to get to do this is pretty special.
And Tony, if I could just interrupt very briefly, I'm told that the battery issue has been resolved.
Well, that's good news.
So we should be okay from this point unless something else crops up, right?
As we see 13 minutes coming down on the clock. Peggy, you mentioned the power and the thrust. There's all these numbers you can throw at people, but it's really hard to comprehend. You've been there. You've felt it. When those engines, those rockets ignite and you feel the lift, what is that feeling?
Well, this is actually in some ways very...
Look, I'm going to share this one. Hang on. Let me pause her. Because look, this one you can see down here in the little corner. They're in there. And you can hear a little bit.
On the NASA test director team. So we'll hear him poll his team. The other poll that we're waiting for is the poll from launch director Charlie Blackwell Thompson, who will take that final status from NASA management before giving the go to come out of a hold. And you're seeing the clock count down at L-12 minutes.
CCL, OTC, Orion,
I was in 5th grade.
CCL. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Jerry, I was-
Configure ARS primary loop ISO valves.
Copy, that's in work.
And CDR, OTC, Orion, Earth 1.
Go.
ARS loop ISO valves are being closed at this time.
Integrity, copy.
NGDLP, the observation the CIs had a few minutes ago, they were able to confirm with BCI photos that the condition that they observed has been there since 2025. Our manager has had a chance to review the flight.
I keep losing sound. Hold up. They're losing visual inside the you were in 6th grade, Clover? Yeah.
But we've canceled the resume time there, and then we'll pick it up after we get through all of our work, continue working that to get to our T0 today. So when we get to about 50 seconds from now, we'll extend that hold.
We're almost at 10 minutes.
OTC.
Hey, Kara.
CVSE.
400, 290, looking to verify that we are configured for ascent.
Oh, wow, Ava.
Yep, give me about 2 more minutes. I'm going to start CMA2 streaming.
Copy.
NTD COSE hold requested.
Copy that.
I have an LCC violation of O-CT-004, S-band transponder anomaly. This was a transient LCC violation, so transponder 1 had a demodulated SNR estimate that went down to 2 dBm when it should have been between 10 and 13. It is now back up to 12, but we did lose that for just a moment. It does not appear that we lost our bit sync or carrier lock, which would be indicative that we lost our lock with the vehicle. So at this point, recommendation would still be go. However, we do have a pre-planned contingency procedure if we want to look at that. But again, this was transient, so we're back in a nominal range.
All right, let's see. LPE NTD.
Yeah, we're not seeing that hit. So I guess the question for COSE, was that less than 3 samples? Is that below our persistence?
Why did the clock stop?
Stand by. Let me look. It did look like it did persist for several
Why did the
seconds
clock
on mine,
stop?
but let me take a look at the number of samples.
Could I get a repeat on the affected LCC, please?
Yes, ma'am. That's going to be O-CT-004.
Thank you.
You show the folks here, talk about a kid who's obsessed with space. We've got the entire solar system here. I didn't see that earlier this afternoon.
It's actually a
little
Orion.
There it is, Artemis II. And your favorite planet is, again?
Mars.
Mars. Maybe you got to go to Mars when you get older. What do you think about that?
Nah, I'm not going to Mars.
Too far away?
Yeah, I would have to take a 100-pound rocket to get there.
All right, well, we'll work on that. Listen, you got to rest up for the next flight, Commander Jack. There we go. We got future astronauts all over this place, people from all around the country, Tony. And we're fired up. We are ready. We're almost 10 minutes away now, and it's been a long wait, and we're ready to go for sure. Back to you.
We don't need no crazy stuff.
All right, Rob, that's great stuff. But Bill, as Rob was talking there, we came into that 10-minute window where if everything was on schedule, 6:24 was the earliest when a launch could happen. But instead of continuing in to that time, and we have a hold here, do you know what happened?
Yeah, well, first of all, this hold is normal. This is absolutely standard procedure. When they get down to this point, they stop, make sure everything's in perfect shape before they pick up the count and go. So this part's normal. They are working a problem with an S-band communication system. They lost telemetry briefly from some systems on the rocket, so they're just making sure that system is healthy. They said they would extend this hold past the normal amount of time, so it implies we're not going at 6:24, but it might just be a few minutes after. Have to wait and see.
Okay, so they put us on hold for.
When you see a hold like that, what are your thoughts as astronauts, Peggy?
Well, on my first launch attempt,
Are you
we got
really?
to it was an L-9 minute hold. And we were 9 minutes into it, and they called it for weather, a thunderstorm within 25 miles.
Oh, no.
And so it happens. It's part of the process. And
I'm gonna be
you have to do what's
disappointed.
right, what's safe, what the flight rules dictate.
It's amazing to me because it seems like you wake up ready and then you stay ready, but at the same time you're on that knife's edge between ready and expecting, because you can't really expect, you can't assume, certainly not. I see you nodding your head, Mike.
Right. Yeah, I mean, up until you actually lift off, you could scrub. I think in the past they had some shuttle launches that scrubbed.
Look, I mean,
seconds before liftoff, and so you always have to be ready for that moment. And if it happens, you reset. They'll go back to the crew quarters. They'll get a new timeline. They'll figure out what the issue was, and then you go at it again.
Yeah,
it's an amazing.
My anxiety, and if Muffin's is listening. She's on her way, so Muffins, hey baby in the background, you're dropping on mommy. Yeah, Muffins is on her way to come hang out with me.
Thank you very much for joining us.
I wanted to start a little bit early so I'd have my time with her.
Who wasn't going to go to Mars, but did want to be an astronaut.
It's launching from Florida, Kennedy Space Center.
This mission is so important, right? It inspires the next generation, but that's just the start of why it matters so much. Take us through it.
Yeah, you're right, Tony. That's what this really is all about. NASA is really pushing hard on inspiring the next generation of scientists, technologists, engineers, mathematicians, astronauts, and skilled laborers that want to become part of this great space adventure. NASA realizes that going forward into the future, it's going to need all of those skill bases, and it's going to need everybody to participate. So this is a great opportunity for young people that have not had the opportunity to be part of a crewed mission into deeper space. This is a great opportunity for them to see what this is all about and become excited.
There
in
on
fact,
my travels
you could
to
say
Florida
that
when
NASA
I gone to
really looks
Newport
at this
Richie,
as a way to reignite the excitement that we felt, not only in America,
and then
but
being
all
that I'm in
across the world
Houston, we
for
also
human
have
space
being in
exploration.
Houston. I'm in the Houston vicinity, so we also
Derek,
have
thank you very
NASA
much
down
for
here,
that. I
and
want to
so
bring our viewers' attention
I've
to
been
the
there
launch
multiple
director, Charlie
times. I
Blackwell
love it.
Thompson, who is doing
so interesting
something very
to me.
important. It's known as the Go, No-Go poll, input to verify the launch. If we have it, let's listen in.
Attention on the net. This is the launch director performing the final poll for launch, verifying no constraints, and go for launch. EGF, Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
The Artemis CSOs are go.
Copy, thank you. Range weather.
Launch weather is go.
Thank you, LWO. And Artemis MMT Chair.
MMTs go.
Thank you, John. Integrity Launch Director.
Good to hear your voice, Charlie. PLT.
We are going for our families.
MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MS2. This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity. All right, Charlie, your Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis II. Let's go.
And there you have it.
NTD Launch
the Artemis
Director.
Go.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
It's a go,
Yes, sir.
no-go poll there. Go for family, for teammates, for all of humanity, the daring spirit of the American people and our allies. I saw you guys having a reaction to that. It's a beautiful thing.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Lover.
Oh my gosh.
What's going through your mind right now, Peggy?
That was emotional. I
for
don't
me,
remember that as a child.
I was inspired by Apollo 11 and the astronauts walking on the moon. And so this whole
As a
thing, I
child,
think,
you
is
take
a
that
reignition.
differently.
That
Yes,
inspiration
absolutely,
for you.
Sherry. That just gave
Yeah.
me. Whew.
Yeah.
How about you,
I
old
agree.
man?
I agree. I agree. I was in high school when Apollo 11 took off. I remember watching it with a friend and being just stunned by the whole thing.
Right,
and
Cara?
I've followed the space program ever since. And I've longed for a moment when to see us, we'd leave the planet and leave low Earth orbit to head out into the solar system. So this new architecture to go back and build a moon base, perhaps.
That was an
Yeah.
emotional
Very exciting to me,
statement.
for
That
sure.
really.
One of the most interesting things
Maybe as an
I've
adult,
learned
we
in
look- we
preparing
hear,
for this
you know,
is, in fact, this was Christina Cook.
As odd as it sounds, as an adult,
It's a place where
we
without
or
atmosphere,
me
without
as an
wind,
adult
without
has,
rain, everything
take
that's
that
ever
in
happened
very
there
differently
is still there, imprinted on the surface.
as
It's
being
just a marvelous
a
concept to think about. And on the board,
child
actually, I want to bring in
watching
Harrison Schmidt,
at
who is the
school.
last living person
You know,
from the Apollo 17
I
mission
keep
to
referring
walk
back
on
to
the
that,
moon.
and
That was
it's that natural
1972.
fear, I
His
guess,
footprints
of
are
my
there.
memory.
Harrison, thank you very much for joining us. You were one of the few people
Because
left
you're
who can answer
emotional.
this
Me too,
question.
Clover.
What was it like to
Yeah,
walk
it
on the
hits
moon?
differently as an adult.
Hey, it's fantastic. It just being there and even being close as this crew will be is a fantastic experience. Honor, privilege, everything. And extraordinarily important in this regard because we're now finally on a pace to get back to the moon, to understand its resources, to deal with its geopolitical implications. And something that is often missed we're training in a new generation of flight controllers, launch controllers, engineers are all learning again how to operate psychologically as well as engineering-wise in the vicinity of the moon.
But I wouldn't want to be
That's
anywhere else
extraordinarily
doing this.
important to have
I'd
that
rather be
base of
here with
experience
y'all,
expand again.
experiencing this with y'all. So thank you all for being here.
You know, Harrison, one of the quirky facts of the human
turn this down. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Sheila. This is Rubber Ramada Reviews. We review anything and everything, whatever suits our need for the moment. And today we're checking out what's going on this Artemis II mission. So thank you all for being here. If you're new and haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, and turn all notifications on because my hours of going live are odd.
And the public requires the media to be interested in things for them to be interested in things. Otherwise, they do not get the information ordinarily in any kind of an easy way. So it's part of the obligation, I think, of the legacy and other media in order to maintain this interest, to look more deeply into what it takes to accomplish these magnificent missions. And that's really important to the American.
Harrison, you took a very famous photo when you were up there, the blue marble photo. Astronauts talk about the overview effect, being able to see Earth from space. You helped all of us see Earth from space, and you didn't even have an iPhone in your pocket to do it.
No,
that is so cool.
I didn't. I'll tell you, that picture of the Earth is one of many I took on the way to the moon. I think as a geologist, I had a slightly different perspective about seeing the Earth. Yeah, that's where it ought to be. and so I was busy trying to forecast weather patterns and things like that, as well as just getting one heck of a kick out of the whole thing.
Cara.
Harrison, thank you very much. I want to bring in our two astronauts here. We've got Peggy and Mike.
I'm going to let them talk real quick. I'm going to go, Mom wants a bologna sandwich, and y'all know family first with dementia and everything. When Mom calls, I go. So I'm going to turn my camera off. I'm going to let this play for a minute. I'm going to go make Mama a bologna sandwich. I'll be right back.
Perspective, I think, is what I think some people call the overview effect. To me, it's perspective.
Hold on, Peggy. I'm putting my hand down to interrupt you because as you were talking, the clock started ticking again, and we have a new launch time.
Okay, I'm going to make bologna sandwich.
10 minutes at 6:35.
I'll be right back.
If there are no holes here, there are a few points where they could hold, but right now they're counting 6:35.
Okay, 6:35. Carry on, Peggy. You were making a point there.
Yeah. So for me, that perspective of seeing Earth from above, even 250 miles above, is dramatic. All of humanity, except for a handful of people that are hanging out with you, are down there, and as far as we know. And so that perspective, and then, seeing this planet that, especially from their perspective, I would have think, out in the blackness of space, makes you think about, this is spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
And, we're all living in the same in life support system here.
We all need it.
Have to take care of this and take care of our crew, and all of that is so important. And I think that perspective is really important for us to convey. And I think that's why people were so, impressed with the Earthrise pictures from the Apollo days. And I think it's important to realize this is our spaceship here.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We are hurtling through space right now as we speak, right here on Earth itself. You see the rocket and people are impressed. You can be impressed by a rocket, but you don't fall in love with it the way you fall in love with the astronauts themselves. So, Mike, I want to turn to you and talk a little bit about the 4 people who are in that capsule right now.
Yeah.
Reed Wiseman, someone you know well. Talk about him. What kind of man is he? What kind of astronaut? What kind of teammate?
Yeah. Reed is an incredible man, incredible teammate, incredible person. We were selected back in 2009. And one of the things you realize about Reed is he will do everything for you, right?
And the arm is retracting there as you speak.
That's good news.
That's good news, right?
Okay. That's a good step, yeah. And one of the things I would also say about Reed, and you can say this about all of this crew, composure under pressure, right? The ability when the chips are down, when things are, when there are issues or things like that, he steps up his game, right? And he does it extremely well. I think that comes with a lot of his experience in the military, but also with all of his training. And so he's just a
everyone hurry,
incredible
body
astronaut,
break.
incredible father.
Down to 7 minutes
and,
almost.
So very excited for him to have this mission.
And Peggy, you had a hand in selecting not one, not two, not three, but the entire crew, making their dreams come true as astronauts. You were in a position to recognize their talent. What did you see in them? What stands out as we see the timer down below 7 minutes?
Yeah, so I think that, one of the outstanding characteristics of this crew is how well they work as a team. They have the soft skills to make a really strong team, to interact well, to build something stronger than any individual. And that's what I'm impressed with by this group.
What is the difference maker? The thing that makes you say this person is an astronaut and this other person is a talented human being, but just not the right fit.
We end up getting thousands of applicants for each crew member that we're going to select. And so by the time we get honed down to the last group of people that we're talking to, it ends up being, do I want to fly with that person? Would they be fun to be on a crew with? Would they, be a good contributor to a crew? And would I pick them to be on my crew? And so that ends up being the bottom line at the very end.
Yeah, it's a very tight space. In the chair that you're sitting in right now, earlier today, we had Rob Lightfoot, who used to be the NASA administrator, worked for NASA for 30 years, then runs space for Lockheed Martin, which designed the capsule. I asked him why he couldn't make it bigger, but it's apparently just the size of 2 minivans up there for 10 days. So yeah, you better like each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the food. What do you remember, Mike, about the food?
The food's pretty good, right? There's a lot of variety. From back in the Apollo days, I don't think they quite had the same variety that we have on board station now. And I think there's a lot of similarities between that food and what they're taking with them to the moon on this mission.
That's awesome.
And so, one of the neat things about it as well, you can get kind of creative with your food. So I noticed I was looking at their menu, and there's a lot of tortillas on board, and tortillas. People ask what your favorite food is, and for me, it was a tortilla because you can do a lot with it. You can take a sausage patty and some eggs, and you've got a breakfast burrito. It's pretty nice.
He's talking about making breakfast burrito in space.
It's 6:30 now on the East Coast, so if you were tuning in for the CBS Evening News, you tuned in at a really good time because we are under 5 minutes now, countdown to launch. Artemis II, the first manned mission to the moon in more than 50 years. Bill, as we get ever so close, what's going on right now?
Well, first of all, they just armed the launch abort system. They did that on time. That's the system that would carry them away in a catastrophic failure. They've armed the flight termination system. That's the whole rocket's entire self-destruct system that we were talking about earlier. It sounds unusual, but every rocket launched from the East Coast has a self-destruct system to protect surrounding communities in case of a major problem. The bottom line is, I'm just checking off things on the list here. Inside of 10 minutes, the terminal account's proceeding very smoothly. No signs of any problems at all at this point. It's all on schedule.
Bill, on that point, and we've all mentioned risk, we know everyone expects this to go well, but the reality of spaceflight is that it's a difficult and challenging endeavor. And on that point, the commander of Artemis II, Reed Wiseman, who we were just talking about, spoke to CBS News before the launch about the risks that he expected ahead of him. Take a listen.
Right now on planet Earth, there's 4 people in a position to go take this risk. And this is what we signed up for. I mean, it is really important for humanity to push further into our solar system, to go explore the unknown, to go discover things that we didn't think were possible, to have that human brain, human eye curiosity out there, figuring things out that we never even dreamed of. And myself, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy are in a position to go do that. We have to seize that moment.
Peggy, Mike, when I hear that, what I think about is the fact that it takes curiosity to want to go to space, but it also takes a not insignificant amount of courage to be the one on top of the rocket. A lot of courage. You're nodding. You had it. I don't think I could do it. They're sitting next to a red abort switch. They could hit at any time. I mean,
somebody that's retired.
This is the moment that you dream of as an astronaut, right? This is what you trained for. This is what you prepared for.
Yeah.
Oof. How do you manage your heartbeat?
Well, spaceflight, to me, the best thing about it is you're part of something so much bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
It's all these people's, the engineers, the designers, the operators in mission control.
Thank you all for hanging out with me. I appreciate that.
Have worked very hard to make this successful.
You don't think
so? To me, being a part of that is just thrilling.
Carl, I didn't think about
and
that.
The rocket ride is pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet as well.
Tony, we can see them now gimbling the main
Mr.
engine nozzles. That's a steering
Conspiracy
check to make sure the
theory.
hydraulic systems are up and running. Because once the solid boosters go away, moving those
You'll
nozzles is
pick
what
one.
lets them steer the spacecraft to the targets they want in space. So always a critical milestone.
And in every shot, as we approach T-minus 2 minutes, if this were a football game, we'd be getting close to it. In all of these shots, or in many of them anyway, you can see what looks like steam coming off the engines or different chambers of the rocket. Anyone know what that is?
Yeah, vapor. You know, the liquid oxygen constantly turns into a gas. It gets vented off the rocket, and you see it condensed in the air right outside. They vent hydrogen away too, but it burns, and it tends to burn invisibly in the daytime. But that's all absolutely normal.
This is such an incredible moment here with the blue sky behind us on the...
Thanks everybody for coming and hanging in the duck pond while we watch the astronauts. This one is
up to 3 samples.
a live view from the people that are on the ground.
This is not an LCC violation, I believe.
Just to give y'all kind of a different view for just a
Yes, sir.
second.
I would agree with that at this point. Copy that.
We're checking with KUS on 232. I don't think they have 21.
Does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, control shifts from the ground launch sequencer to the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground. Now, shortly after liftoff, Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
30 seconds.
GLS, go for ALS.
Great call out. The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket
Here we go.
NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Oh, my little heart.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston, now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Houston now in control.
Integrity, AMT high. AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate beacon. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston saying good performance on the 4 main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour.
1,200 miles an hour. Oh, my anxiety. Oh, you hear all the people cheering. Oh, my goodness.
Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On,
I can't
possibly
even
on.
back Walker. This is amazing.
Dan, we have you loud and clear on possibly on. Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
2,600 miles an hour. I've never felt so emotional about a rocket taking off. Oh my goodness.
1 minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation expected at the 2-minute 9-second mark.
Okay. So shortly.
We see throttle down.
Oh look.
Confirmed separation. Main engine's throttling up, guidance converged.
Oh.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Oh, look at the view.
Copy all, Stan.
Integrity, SM priming complete.
SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. Thrusters on Integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state ahead of service module fairing separation.
I was in 5th grade, Dutch. I know it's been a total emotional.
Integrity, 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange.
Oh,
now passing 5,000 miles per hour.
5,000. I had so many emotions and I wanted to do this and watch this, but I didn't want to watch it alone. We're liftoff, Ava. We're in the air.
Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
Yeah, it's
Integrity, good last jettison, great view.
Copy jettison, Team Eco 8+02.
Challenger. Yes.
We see the same on board, Stan.
And Houston has you loud and clear on Tidris at the Kármán line.
Outstanding, Stan. We have you the same.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the flight of Artemis II, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen crossed the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison now working on internal checks to verify accuracy. Flight Dynamics Officer analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds, time of MECO.
You know, my thing, Dutch, was that, you know, as an adult watching this, I have so many different emotions than the emotions I had in 5th grade dealing with watching it. This has been, and if you didn't get to see, you might want to back up where they right before a liftoff and they gave all the go, and I'll back it up. I'll actually back it up.
Integrity, GPS processing.
Outstanding, Stan. We see the same, and we have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
Once we get to this, I'm going to back
Approaching
it up.
5 minutes into the flight, Dana Reed Wiseman confirms he has visuals of his destination. GPS guidance, navigation, and control software finishes internal checks and sends to navigation channels.
Integrity, 3 engine press.
3 engine press.
On time, now passing 5 minutes 20 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. At this point, 3 good main engines are all that's needed to carry Integrity to a nominal main engine cutoff target. Though at this time, we're seeing 4 good engines here in Mission Control Houston. Integrity, 75 miles in altitude, 330 miles downrange, approaching 10,000 miles per hour.
Integrity, looking good at 6 minutes.
Same on board, Stan.
Good trajectory and engine performance. Booster officer will soon report the shutdown plan to Flight Director Judd Friedling, expected at the 7-minute mark. Integrity, 78 miles in altitude, 460 miles downrange.
Integrity, expect nominal shutdown.
Integrity copies nominal shutdown.
Six minutes 40 seconds of mission elapsed time. Shutdown plan is as expected.
I'm here, though.
Again, the time of MECO was confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds into the flight. Seven minutes of mission elapsed time. Throttling down as we approach the abort once around option. Milestone at the 7-minute 30-second mark. Now 84 miles in altitude, 650 miles downrange, traveling more than 15,000 miles per hour.
Integrity, AOA open.
AOA open.
The window is now open for an abort once around option that would target splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Still following nominal ascent at this time. About 10 seconds remaining until the main engine cutoff of the Space Launch System core stage. Standing by for confirmation of MECO and core stage separation.
Integrity and nominal MECO, core stage separated. We see the same on board, Stan.
Eight minutes, 40 seconds into the flight, we have a nominal main engine cutoff heading in the right trajectory on the way to swing around the moon. Core stage has separated, done its job. The Space Launch System upper stage, the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, or ICPS, still attached to the Orion spacecraft.
Okay, we're gonna go back. I'm gonna play this again. Okay, we're gonna make this. Let's see if I can close this so we don't confuse everybody. And this was
EGF, that's Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
The Artemis CSOs are go.
Copy, thank you. Range weather.
Launch weather is go.
Thank you,
I'm replaying what we
LWO
watched earlier.
and Artemis MMT Chair.
MMTs go.
Thank you, John. Integrity Launch Director.
Good to hear your voice, Charlie. PLT.
We are going for our families.
MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MS2. This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity. All right, Charlie, your Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis II. Let's go.
And there you have it.
The
Artemis go.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
It's a go,
Yes, sir.
no-go poll there. Go for family, for teammates, for all of humanity, the daring spirit of the American people and our allies. I saw you guys having
1 o'clock in the morning, and that kind of storyline is prevalent throughout this entire area. People coming in from all the country, and
so that was from
joyful.
earlier. That's exactly Dutch. Exactly. Thank you, Glitter. Godspeed, Artemis II. Yeah, it's and Carl's having conspiracy theory because it's New Year. It's April Fool's Day.
Relieved faces right now, and obviously the mission's not
over to Houston, which is where we find Chris Van
milestone. And then the next one is when they get to the hop section.
with the what's
Well, he's been running around in circles. I can't find him anymore. The Commander Jack I think he's ready to go to Mars after seeing that.
Right, we can all take
hey
a good
guys, I mean,
breather.
it's just we're just catching our breath like you guys are. I mean, we're
Yes,
about 7 or 8 miles away from where the launch pad is, but we still felt it. We still saw every bit of it. It was still magnificent, and some people are very relieved. There's some families here that came from all across the country, including Colorado Springs. And we met the Ross family earlier. All right, mom brought the girls down, took them out of school. It's not spring break, and basically rolled the dice on this happen because you were going to fly back when? Tomorrow. So if this didn't happen tonight, this is going to be very disappointed. All right, Carly, what'd you think of your first rocket launch?
It was really cool.
Really? Look how smart. You're smiling so big, I can't believe it. How about you, Adelaide?
It was the coolest thing I've seen ever.
I think that about wraps it up. The coolest thing worth coming out of school for, right?
We're getting
Oh, yeah. I bet you your teachers will forgive you. Well, we're so glad it went off for you guys. So glad you came all the way from Colorado Springs, the heart of America. And have a safe trip home and get some rest. All right, you deserve it. They were here since 7 o'clock this morning, got in at 1 o'clock in the morning. And that kind of storyline is prevalent throughout this entire area. People coming in from all the country and joyful, relieved faces right now. And obviously the mission's not over, but this part of it, at least, we're celebrating. Tony?
Rob, I love it. Very cool.
This timing, I think they will break the record of being the farthest humans from planet Earth.
And if the mission is successful and the tests go as expected, not only will they break the record, but they will set the next astronaut crew up for another flight with another milestone and then even deeper travel.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. We've talked throughout today about how each mission stands on the shoulders of the last mission. And it is a marvel to think of how many individual decisions, how many individual ideas, thoughts, early mornings, late nights went into this moment.
Absolutely.
Well, you think about, we were talking about the selection of the astronauts.
I really don't think we're going to see Mars in my lifetime, although half my life is already over. So anyways, I just wanted to bring this to y'all. I didn't want to watch this alone. So I appreciate every one of y'all being here and watching this with me because, it is an emotional milestone, even for me being 50, almost 54 years old. So, yeah. So anyways, yeah, it's very difficult, Abellis. I mean, getting to the moon, I mean, I couldn't imagine. So yeah, and I'm so glad I got to watch this with y'all and hang out for a little bit. Nothing too heavy, nothing too crazy, but it was just us being us and hanging out. See, Glitter, you're 54 too, so we're going the dark side of the moon. We're all dark side, going the dark side of the moon. Y'all know. Thank you, Backwalk, for hanging out over there on Kick. I appreciate you. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your evening. And I think Hio's gonna be live in just a little bit. She kind of has one set up. So catch her in a little bit. I'm gonna go spend time with my daughter. She's on her way. So until later, and I will see y'all again real quick before we leave. Y'all know I always have to tell you really before we go.
You is smart. You is kind. You is important.
So until next time, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Peace.
Life's a ride on a rickety old track.